Well, hello my crafting lovelies and welcome. I am the Rocky Mountain Crafter. Today I am using products by Queen & Company. That's who this set of outdoors themed products is by. Here we have a beautiful huge sheet of dies, all kinds of goodies on there, some coordinating paper, and look at these beautiful colors in here. I have to go back to the trailers. Look at how cute those are. And stars and stripes and just so much goodness in there. Amazing sentiments for this set as well. There's just something for everybody here. It's just a beautiful set. And it also comes with some foam cutouts, and they're meant to be shaker cards. So you can buy extras of these also, but you can also make these yourself with the kit. So it's just, everything is here. But today I will be using the tent, and it comes with this guide, die guide of how to put all of the dies together. And yes, there is the beautiful set of dies again, lots of dies. I'm going to use some packaging. Here I have the colors Uptown, Something Borrowed, Dress Blues, Queen for a Day, and Glam by Catherine Pooler, but it's actually the re-inkers that I'm using. So I'm just putting a couple dots of each on this piece of packaging, and I'm spreading it out, the dots, and then I'm going to activate it with water. I don't want the colors the same color too close together. I want them all spread out, and with this last one I do 3 dots, and then I'm just going to activate with water, and we have all this beautiful different color variation here, and I'm picking that up with some watercolor cardstock, and I actually do 2 panels, but I'm basically just showing you the one because that's the one I'm highlighting. The other one I will save for later. Now I'm drawing with my heat tool, and a little tidbit trick for you. If it starts to warp on one side, flip it over and it'll start to flatten again. And so I just keep flipping until I'm happy with how dry it is. And there is the beautiful colors in there. So pretty. Now I'm trimming it down to size. The length of this card is right, but the width was not, so I trimmed it. I'm taking some Catherine Pooler Juniper Mist, and with a blending brush, I am just blending that on the outside of the card. I do a heavy hand at the bottom because that's where the tent is going to sit on this card, so it's going to look like ground. But for the other 3 sides, I go quite lightly just to give it a night sky feel. Then I'm putting it in a splatter box, putting a piece of scrap paper on top, and grabbing my watercolor brush there, my refillable brush. This set of watercolors is called Shimmering Lights by Watercolor Confections, and I am just sprinkling some of that on with my refillable watercolor brush. These products are linked below on this YouTube video and on my blog at therockymountainCrafter.com. So look at those beautiful colors, and again hitting that with my heat tool just because I'm a little impatient and I want to see how it's going to look before it actually dries naturally. So look at this beautiful, and it has iridescence. Those stars are iridescent, so it sparkles a little bit. Now I'm taking that tent, I'm looking at the guide on how to put the dies together. I'm going to use some spruce and some Deck the Halls for the trees. I'm just going to swink those colors onto some Catherine Pooler cardstock. So swinking is swiping ink, so I can just swipe ink in any color and have my die cuts be whatever color I want them to be. I don't need to rely on colored cardstock. Now I'm taking, I couldn't decide, Uptown Breeze or Skylight. I actually chose the Skylight because it's the lightest, and then if I wanted to darken it up, I could. So I'm doing this for the tent, the main tent piece. I'm going to die cut that out. Now I'm just taking some Juniper Mist just to get it a little darker in some spots. So whatever was left on the brush is what I'm using. And I'm really putting a heavy hand on the tent doors. So this is going to be like looking into the tent. And of course it can be darker when you look in unless a light's on. But I'm doing this tent like there's not a light on. Now I'm taping these together on the back of this so it acts as one piece. And it's just much easier to deal with. I did get some tape off the edge, so I just trimmed it off there. This card orientation is landscape, and I always like to do a side fold on all of my cards because I find that if I was to do a top fold, that it falls down. It doesn't sit nice. So I'm doing landscape orientation on my card, so it's got a side fold on it. And then I'm taking my ATG gun, and because this is a watercolor panel and it's slightly warped, it's not terrible. I like to put as much two-way tape on the back as possible. And this ATG gun just makes it super easy to do that. Then into my Memory Keeper's precision press, just to square it all up. And there I have my card base on my card front. Easy peasy. I had some tent flaps on this card, but I ended up not liking the color. So I'm just redoing them in eucalyptus. And I'm using my Barely Arts glue, which I absolutely love Barely Arts glue. But you know what? I don't really like the Petunia glue press. I just found that it was more awkward for me to do it with that. So I went back to just my glue in a bottle, and I just put some foam tape on the back of that tent, and I set it there lightly because I'm going to place my trees now, but I don't want my tent down permanently. I just want to see where everything goes. Once I have the placement good, then I start gluing my trees in place. And it's not until the very end that I actually press my tent down fully. I am making this card as part of a weekend challenge on the Catherine Pooler Stamp Nation community. And I just love that she allows us to use other companies' products. To me, that speaks volumes about Catherine Pooler's integrity and her inclusivity and support of other companies. So once I have those trees in place, then the card is done. Almost. We need to do a sentiment. So I'm putting it back into my precision press by We Are Memory Keepers and getting that sentiment on the acrylic plate and using some Wow Pearl, white pearl embossing powder. I'm going to take my Versamark. I did use a destatic tool to destatic this first, and you can see it has left a white haze there. So then I'm taking the Wow embossing powder and I'm going to use my heat tool on there. And then with a piece of paper towel, I need to clean that up. But you want to make sure your embossing powder is completely dry first. Otherwise you will smear it. Not dry, but cooled off. Otherwise it will smear. Because it's just plastic. So if it's hot plastic, it's going to smear. Now it's time to put my personalized stamp on the back. There it is, and that, you guys, is this card done. I hope that you enjoyed this video today. I am Faye Russell, the Rocky Mountain Crafter. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and on my blog at therockymountaintcrafter.com. Wishing you a fabulous month ahead. Take care. Bye-bye.